those two personalities coming together and butting heads, that dynamic was really interesting to explore and to see as the movie progressed, and getting to see the person that Kate, my character, was at the beginning and who she becomes at the end. That arc was really exciting for me to get to play and explore.
Well, I love this movie, and it's a hell of a way to kick off 2024. I mean, the Bricklayer is action packed with so many twists and turns. It keeps you on the edge of your seat, and it kept me guessing the whole time. You play Kate Bannon, a hotshot analyst who is the yin to the grizzled, jaded ex-agent Stephen Vale's Yang, played by Aaron Eckhart. How did you prepare for such an action-oriented character?
I grew up in a household with an older brother and a dad who loved 90s and early 2000s action movies. So I feel like I was born prepared, or I was preparing myself my whole childhood. Also because my brother would beat me up. And so the first 18 years of my life, I learned how to fight and sort of defend myself. So I was kind of ready for it from the very beginning. But the movie, like you said, it's so fun. It's so action packed. It's so entertaining. And it was the first time that I got to play a character that, I joke and call it my big girl role, but she's a young professional, and she's really smart and ambitious, and very, goal and research oriented and very specific. And so the dynamic between that and Vale, who's jaded and uninterested and not really, like, he's lost his passion and drive, those two personalities coming together and butting heads, that dynamic was really interesting to explore and to see as the movie progressed, and getting to see the person that Kate, my character, was at the beginning and who she becomes at the end. That arc was really exciting for me to get to play and explore.
The chemistry between you and Aaron really shines through. I feel like those are some of the best moments in the film, is you two together. Can you talk about working with Aaron on The Bricklayer?
He's the most dedicated person I think I've ever worked with in my entire career so far. He's so committed to, he's memorized and he's researched. He actually showed up on the very first day of not even rehearsal. We were just like meeting for the first time, and the director asked us to, if we wanted to do a little read through of the script, just the three of us. And so we did. And I'm very prepared. Like, I have different colored pens for my stage direction and my notes and my things and highlighters, and my script is like my holy grail. And so I remember taking it out and being, feeling very prepared. And then about 10 minutes into the read through, noticing that Aaron didn't have a script because he'd already memorized the entire thing from start to finish. All of his lines he had in his head already, and we hadn't even started shooting. So, it was the most impressive and, for me, embarrassing thing, because I was like, wait, I didn't get the memo. Did we have to memorize this today? So, yeah, I learned a lot from him. He's very, very committed, and he lives and breathes the role. And you can see on camera his performance is really great.
Yeah, he's absolutely amazing. Now, Gerard Butler's a producer on The Bricklayer. Can you discuss working with him in that capacity?
He actually didn't come to set, so I didn't get to see him. But I know Gerard, and he's a fantastic person and a great actor and action actor in his own route as well.
Nina, you can do it all: drama, comedy, romance, but the action chops you display in this are amazing. Tell me about doing your own stunts, and what did you learn about yourself during that process?
I had a blast. We shot this movie in Greece, and I'm luckily, because I had a gymnastics background and I have really good spatial and physical awareness, I sort of picked up on the choreography pretty quickly for any fight sequences that we had on the day, or if they wanted me to shoot a gun. I've done other movies in the past where I had gun training, and so I felt like but actually Aaron taught me a lot. There was some things like I didn't know that, like, at one point I had my gun out with Aaron in a scene, and I was like covering him, and you're not supposed to point a gun at your fellow, like even in the direction of somebody that you're working with, which I wasn't aware of. And so he like taught me certain protocols and things that you should and shouldn't do. So yeah.
You were hanging out of cars, shooting guns, and in real locations, which I absolutely love. I love the usage of practical locations. What scene stands out to you the most as this intense shoot? And did you get any tips from your director Renny Harlin, who has directed some great action genre classics?
Yeah, I mean, it was really fun to watch him directing as somebody who has aspirations to direct someday too. Like I want to do a feature film as well. And what I loved about Rennie is that even though he's done this so many times, he hasn't lost that childlike wonderment and excitement for the craft. And he was this big teddy bear that, was excited and happy to be there, and he knew exactly what he wanted. But he was also the master of he had 6 different cameras, some of them hidden. Sometimes didn't know that he was shooting a certain angle. So it felt very, very real and raw. And sometimes you have drones fire in the air at the same time as the shots that were on the ground. And yeah, I learned a lot from him. I was studying and sort of shadowing from afar as well.
Now, you also had the opportunity to share the screen with Tim Blake Nelson, who plays the CIA boss, O'Malley. Can you talk about working with him on this film?
Yeah, Tim is fantastic and so sweet and also incredibly dedicated. And he had a lot of dialogue, a lot of really complicated government jargon, if you will. And I did too, but he had way more than me. And so, he's, I feel like he's played similar roles to this in the past, and he just came in and crushed it and did his thing. And he was only in with us for maybe 5 or 6 days. He was in and out pretty quickly.
Now, look, we have some hardcore Vampire Diary fans at Screen Rant. So I'm going to switch gears for a second because as the Vampire Diary fans continue to cherish the series, what do you think made Vampire Diaries so enduring and beloved even after its conclusion?
I don't know specifically after its conclusion, but at the time there was a huge vampire craze. Everyone just wanted vampire content of every kind, and our show really, where Twilight came out every once in a while, ours was more of a constant.
Right.
And you can also explore a lot more story and character and fall deeper and get to know the characters a lot more when you're doing a TV show as opposed to a movie. And so I feel like I mean, think about it now, when a show comes out now, I get addicted to shows. Once I started, I can't stop until I know what happens next. And so when you have 8 seasons of that, people get really attached. And so that's probably where the longevity comes from. If I had to guess, but it's been really interesting ever since the pandemic and beyond. People were at home stuck and bored. And so a lot of people rewatched the show, or a lot of people who maybe missed it the first go around started watching it for the first time in the pandemic. And even generations of kids that were too young, maybe a decade ago to watch it, now started watching it. So it really, it sort of renewed its life in a weird way. And I've found that a lot of it feels like it's back on the air, even though it's not. And it has a new home. It's on HBO now. So
now, if a reunion revival were to happen, would you want to return to play Elena or a doppelganger if there were a prequel?
Oh my goodness, you're asking me writer questions. I'm not in control of that kind of stuff. You should ask Julie Plec, I think.
All right, fair enough. Look, I love
I don't get to control the story. Yeah.
I totally get it. I mean, I do have another Vampire Diary question, but it's on the same line. So I feel like, why even ask? But look, I love the Bricklayer. It's a lot of fun. This is a hell of a way to kick off 2024. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate you too. That's awesome.